See Los Angeles as you've never seen it before. Witness the raw tension as hundreds clash in the streets fighting for their future. This isn't just a protest, it's a battle for a city's soul. We'll expose the shocking orders from the top that ignited a furious standoff between federal power and state leaders. Discover why this fight for justice goes beyond immigration, touching the foundations of democracy itself. Join us. Experience the unforgettable moments that turned a city into a battleground. You won't want to miss a single minute. Los Angeles, a storm approaching. The streets of Los Angeles weren't just asphalt and concrete in those days. They were practically scorching with intense tension. The Trump administration's immigration raids had pierced the very heart of California, stirring up a pervasive unrest that swept through every corner. Though the city might have looked like a shining diamond from the outside, it had turned into a deep boiling cauldron within. For the third consecutive day, hundreds of protesters found themselves in an unrelenting confrontation with the police, witnessing anger and despair hanging in the air like a heavy dark cloud. This wasn't just a day's clash, it was the distant rumble of a much larger, much deeper storm. The heart of the street, resistance and a cry. On that Sunday, the federal building in downtown Los Angeles transcended being a mere gathering spot. It became a vibrant center where thousands of broken hearts, thousands of rebellious souls found their voice. As their banners fluttered in the wind, a single demand echoed through the sky: immigration and customs enforcement, ICE, raids, in this immense, vibrant American metropolis had to stop immediately. This wasn't just a call for legal reform. It was an existential cry, rising from the depths of that crowd. Every member of the community knew that these raids weren't merely bureaucratic procedures on paper, but a brutal reality that shattered lives, dreams, and families. The hopes that had blossomed within them had now transformed into a fierce resistance, tears and willpower, an unyielding stance. The police didn't hesitate to use the harshest methods to quell this surging wave of anger. Tear gas filled the air with the smell of gunpowder, spreading like iridescent clouds, as dozens of people struggled to breathe and collapsed. The clicking of handcuffs sounded like the clanging of freedom's shackles. While the media swiftly reported every detail of this violence to the world, the protesters maintained their stance with iron-like resolve. They didn't retreat, because doing so would have meant denying their identity, their rights, their very existence. Each fallen individual only solidified the determination of those who remained, making the pulse of the street quicken even more. For them, this land wasn't just a place, it was their home, and they were prepared for anything to defend it. A voice rises. Nabil Shukir's call. From within the crowd, Nabil Shukir's voice trembled as he spoke to ABC7 television. Yet, despite his exhaustion, a sharp determination gleamed in his eyes. His words didn't just express his own feelings, they conveyed the shared emotion of the entire community. This is a very strong community, and this is why we show up. We're going to keep showing up because it's an obligation and a duty. Fighting this oppression, these kidnappers, is what we all owe. Nabil's heartfelt words encapsulated the spirit of the streets, the very essence of that moment's resistance. Thousands like him, united for justice and equality, had broken the chains of fear, carrying hope for the future like a torch. This wasn't merely a political struggle, but an epic of human dignity and social solidarity. Fire from the White House, the President's order. Right in the midst of this tense atmosphere, President Donald Trump issued an order that was like pouring gasoline onto an already boiling cauldron. His decision to deploy 2,000 California National Guard troops to Los Angeles on Sunday spread with lightning speed. The White House declared this move was to address the lawlessness that has been allowed to fester in the state. However, this was less a solution and more a provocation, a clear show of force by the federal government against state administrations. This decision further inflamed an already tense environment. In the eyes of the public, it was perceived not as security, but as a threat to their will and way of life. The city held its breath. What would happen now? This wasn't merely a troop deployment, but an indicator of a deep rift in America's soul. California's resistance, Governor Newsom's address. California Governor Gavin Newsom angrily and resolutely opposed this move. His voice grew louder as he defended the state's pride and autonomy. The federal government is taking over the California National Guard and deploying 2,000 soldiers in Los Angeles, not because there's a shortage of law enforcement, but because they want a spectacle, a show of force. Newsom's words clearly revealed the power struggle between the federal government and the states. He emphasized that the true intention behind this decision wasn't to protect the public, but rather to send a political message and manipulate public opinion. The governor openly declared that California would uphold its own laws and values and would not bow to federal intervention. This marked the beginning of a battle of wills between the state and federal governments, one that would go down in history. The mayor's concern. The city's broken heart. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass also joined Newsom in this righteous outrage. She described the president's troop deployment as a chaotic escalation. In her message posted on X, Bass addressed the entire city with words from her heart. The fear people are feeling in our city right now is very real. It's felt in our communities and within our families, and it puts our neighborhoods at risk. This is the last thing our city needs. I urge protesters to remain peaceful. The desperation and empathy in her voice directly reflected the anxiety felt by the city's residents. While trying to maintain peace, she also sharply criticized the federal government's actions. Bass's call wasn't just a political statement, but a maternal cry expressing her city's fragility and its people's suffering. Fidel's warning: before it comes to your doorstep. The words of Fidel Gomez, whose uncle was arrested in the protests that began on Friday, served as a faint lantern guiding the way amidst this great chaos. Gomez wasn't just talking about an immigration issue. He was talking about a much more universal threat. People need to understand, this is only happening right now to immigrants, to people legally in this country. But very soon, any kind of dissent is going to be criminalized. Everyone thinks it's happening to someone else. Eventually, it's going to come to their doorstep. These words were a dark warning about the future of American democracy, extending beyond the raids of that day. Gomez's warning reminded everyone that the cost of silence could be very high, and that injustices inflicted upon a minority today could target everyone tomorrow. This was a vital call, uttered by an ordinary citizen, but directed at the entire community. Los Angeles, a battleground. The fact that the National Guard could remain in Los Angeles County for up to 60 days, depending on the severity of the violence and continued protests, was a bitter sign that this heavy cloud over the city wouldn't dissipate easily. With each passing day, the tension mounted and the uncertainty deepened. Los Angeles was no longer just a city, but a battleground, the heart of a seemingly endless war for democracy and human rights. These events exposed the deep fissures within American society, demonstrating how the country's fundamental values were being tested. The future remained uncertain, but one thing was clear: the storm that began in Los Angeles had the potential to affect the fate of the entire nation, and the echoes of this resistance would continue to be heard for a very long time. If this deep dive into the tensions in Los Angeles has piqued your interest, you've come to the right place. Our channel is dedicated to unraveling complex geopolitical events and historical turning points. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and follow us to stay informed and continue exploring the crucial issues that shape our world.